upside down. All the lives have been hypnotized.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another feature episode. Today's guest, we have Corey from FM Berlin. So welcome,
Hello.
Corey.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
So Corey Hachey?
Yeah.
So you were originally yourself, outside of just the band FM Berlin.
Yeah.
You're originally, are you from Bathurst
Yeah.
originally?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you would have been born, raised in that area.
Yeah.
But when did you get involved in music yourself?
I've always been involved in some way or another because my family is very musical.
Sure.
Like I have an older brother who's always been in bands, and I kind of looked up to him, so I kind of followed a bit of what he did, and he played in like bar bands and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then I have my cousins are the Sadies.
Okay.
Yeah, and like their fathers too are my cousins, so like the Good Brothers as well.
Okay.
Bluegrass kind of
Yeah,
iconic
yeah.
band. So I've always had music around me. So as soon as I could, as soon as I figured I eventually figured out that I had to learn how to play an instrument. I wanted to write songs because I could always kind of sing, like that was kind of what I did. And then I was like, well, if I want to start writing, I have to buy a guitar. So I eventually, I don't know, maybe I was like 16 or something. I bought a guitar and started trying to learn how to play, and I'm still learning.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So how long between, like, I don't know how old you would have been when you formed your first band. Yeah, but 2003
probably,
would have been.
yeah, like 20. You mean Sproul?
Yeah.
Yeah. I formed Sproul like in my 20s, man. That was a while back.
So maybe give me a little, I mean, we don't have to spend too much on that because we do want to
Okay.
get into FM Berlin, but
Yeah,
Sproul, you have
Sproul,
shared members too, so I'm sure that
yeah,
plays into the
our
origins.
bass player Glenn, he was with us from the beginning, so he's still there. And I started with another guy from Bathurst, actually.
Okay.
Bathurst, Brunswick, yeah, and he kind of took on the guitar role and kind of managerial role, which he was really good at, Neil McLean.
Mhm.
And we kind of, yeah.
So
we were in Sproul until we weren't, around 2008, I think.
okay.
Apart, or 2007 or something. And then Glenn and I just continued writing together after that.
And
We
that's what I
just,
was wondering too. Like, did the first band like disband and you and Glenn just stayed together as co-writers?
yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's sort of disbanded. I think Tom left shortly after that.
Okay.
And yeah, we did an album with Tom after that, though, with again Lawrence Curry, great producer, great East Coast producer originally. Did like Sloan and Gandarvis, and he had
Awesome.
the Idea of East studio down there in Halifax.
And where does that, is it people like that you were working with that fed into your influences? Because I know that both bands
Yeah,
have a similar sound, but
yeah,
I don't find that sound is necessarily. And I talk about it, obviously, the theme of these podcasts being mostly around East Coast music.
yeah,
East Coast music isn't what we traditionally think of as just fiddle music anymore. I mean, that's
yeah,
a big piece of it, but
yeah.
there's like a Halifax alternative indie rock type sound, and we're starting to see a lot of different like synth sounds come out, and there's a lot of
Yeah,
jazz sounds being mixed in. I really put a lot of emphasis on the community college programs, kind of feeding that in through some of the students and some of the more formalized
definitely.
training. But
Yeah,
your music has a little bit of a different regional sound. It's
yeah,
something you might hear more from some of the mainstream pop kind of Americanized bands, or maybe some
yeah.
of your Western
Like some people
Canadian.
would say, you sound like maybe someone from Boston or New York or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Or
Yeah.
not, but there's some of that influence, I guess. And I guess it comes down to like bands that we kind of grew up listening to and bands that we like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also it just kind of comes out that way as well, because a lot of it's written on acoustic guitar originally.
Hmm.
Whereas nowadays you find people writing songs with like loopers or beat machines or whatever, and that kind of the foundation of how your song starts a lot of times can dictate where it ends up. But for us, it's always acoustic based, usually. And then we bring it to the band. Actually, Glenn and I work on it quite a bit now. Now it's like we're kind of a songwriting team, which we've always been. And but now we're able to do more in the box, basically, like in the studio, as far as instruments that we don't usually play. You know what I mean? Like Glenn can do a lot of the drum work in the studio. So
And that was something else I wanted to ask you about too. I know in researching a little bit about you, and I was familiar with the band, not so much the origins of Sproul, but
yeah,
when getting into FM Berlin, I'm familiar with, like, you were pretty quick out of the gate. You were
yeah,
nominated for a lot of awards and things. And your
yeah,
sync licensing, that you had placements for things online, radio, and
yeah,
television with the first band, and you've
yeah.
kind of transitioned. I'm assuming you kept some of the same contacts as you formed a new band because you've
Yeah,
had
like
success again.
yeah, and with this band we have a publisher, so
Yeah.
that helps us a lot with Sound of Pop Publishing.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're kind of actively looking for places to sync our music, which is great because that's kind of one of the main revenue systems for bands now. So
Oh yeah, they're a great resource, especially in this region. A
yeah,
good chunk of the people I've been interviewing over the past year have also have contracts with Sound of Pop. So definitely give them a lot of credit for things happening out here in the region. But the behind the scenes kind of thing, that when it kind of goes back to the East Coast music too,
yeah,
I definitely hear in your sound, without trying to label it with a genre, I can
yeah,
see how it would fit into sync licensing more so than some of our other bands around here. No offense to all the other bands, you all know I'm a big fan, but there
yeah,
is certain things that are kind of universal in what will fit,
yeah,
and you do have that kind of sound.
yeah.
So
Luckily, because we can't do much like we don't
yeah,
we haven't in the past totally like we didn't really have that thought because it wasn't really that I don't know as yeah we did get some placements, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
yeah,
But now we are thinking sometimes it depends on the song. Like if we come in with a song that seems thematic, it's like, okay, this could have a placement. What does that mean? Maybe we'll add a synth here and there. But in the end, if the song's not good, it doesn't really matter. The song
yeah.
just has to be good.
And so when you start, you've already said you'll write a song, you're going through lyrics and acoustic
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah.
That definitely has a different sound than what your final product of like a fully produced with synth would
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
But
And that's a lot of that.
your vocals don't really change that much, which really shocked me to go
No.
back and watch the strip down. I was like, okay, this should be interesting. I wonder what he sounds like. But I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
he sounds like the produced version. Like that I
Yeah.
expected your vocals were modified.
Yeah, no, not much. Like, I mean, we try to, and I think with the songs that are coming out now, it's even less. We're going drier and drier. Like the
Hmm.
next single that's coming out is really dry. And yeah, well, I think it comes down to I learned from guys like Lawrence Curry how to perform in the studio, and
Sure.
that helped me tremendously. So by the time, from the time I first worked with him, where he was like a bit of a taskmaster, he was hard. Like back then, he had a nickname, the Punisher.
Yeah.
You'd see that in some credits of some of the metal bands he worked with. They wouldn't even put his name; they just put the Punisher.
That's
And
funny.
he put me through my paces. And then by the second time and third time I worked with him, he was very pleased with the change.
Oh,
So yeah,
excellent.
I learned from him, and now it's just kind of second nature in the studio.
So now when you go to write a new song, and we will be talking about a specific new song here in a minute, but
Yeah,
when you go to write a new song now with that kind of experience, and because of the successes that you've had with some placements in the past,
yeah,
I'm kind of curious, maybe you never thought about it this way, but
mm,
I feel I know a lot of different artists now that some are really into what the production is going to make the end product sound like. And some are really into like, I want to be able to belt this out in my garage. And then there's
yeah,
everything else in between.
Yeah.
Where it kind of mentioned, we got a little touch in your songwriting process, but I had mentioned I expected that the vocals were more modified than they were. But
Yeah.
do you consciously think while you're writing about what am I going to do to make this more radio friendly or sync friendly, or are you writing lyrics and then just trying to find a catchy kind of guitar riff to go along with it?
Okay. A lot of the time, like it's not every time, it's a little bit different, but by and large, it's melody driven
Mhm.
for me, which I'm also experimenting now with like more like I'm trying to, find new ways to write. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to be open to like different avenues of writing, but usually I just get inspired by a word or situation or something, and then whatever melody comes from that is usually the best thing I can come up with, and then the words form after the melody usually. But there is always a pop sensibility because I like melody, so there's
Mhm.
always going to be that, and a lot of the choices that are made along the way of the production kind of um, way of things, there's a lot of times pop sensibility in those choices
Sure.
because that's what my ear likes, really.
And the band self-describes the sound as, is it the Police and the Strokes having a baby?
Yeah, because we're trying to find out, because I personally don't really know exactly what it sounds like, but
Sure.
we're trying to give it something where is if you haven't heard it, but you're looking to see what it sounds like before you hear it,
Mhm.
that's as close as I can kind of
I'll throw another comparison band into the mix there. I don't
sure,
always do this, but a
sure.
lot of artists that I work with, I know that that's something that you have to think of when you're trying to write up bios or applying for grants and stuff. People ask you that
Yeah, like
question.
writing
What else?
songs is not enough.
What about Muse? I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
100%,
Okay,
but
cool.
definitely put you in the same category.
Yeah, especially with this, I think this new song kind of might kind of tilt more towards that, and yeah, I could see that for sure. Yeah.
And
I
well,
mean, they may be a little more jazzy, like
yeah.
prog jazzy, but yeah, definitely some similarities.
And I do want to get into that new song, which we'll keep teasing because I want people to stay to the end of the
Sure.
episode and listen to it too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, co-write or was it just production assistance from Devin Lougheed? Because Devin's a friend of the podcast.
He produced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if his fingers in there had any changes into the sound of the new
Yeah.
single.
I would say definitely, especially with this song. Like we've worked with
Mhm.
him on a few songs that we're going to be releasing, and this song, yeah, quite a bit. He actually took it. I would say more like he made it more impactful and a little bigger than we thought it was going to be, and a little more rocky than we thought it was going to be, and
Mhm.
which is really cool because it was a little more acoustic driven, and then all of a sudden it became this like beast, and we're happy that it turned out that way. And there is a little Easter egg in there. There's like a little bass line and going into the second verse. Um, bop 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 bop. It just goes like bop 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 like this, and he that was one of his ideas, and
Mhm.
also the end. The end I had kind of a more, I would say, celebratory feel at the start, and he's like, let's take it to like a bit of create some tension in the song here. There's like an outro that you know what I'm talking about. There's an outro to the song. He's like, let's create a little bit of tension before we release and get into the resolving chords, and we had a hard time making that work actually, but once we did it really brought the song together. So,
Studio magic behind the scenes
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah.
And
Kudos to Devin.
now you would be the person who wrote the lyrics to that
Yeah,
song as well. So I imagine that the original inspiration from it was in your head as well. But I did read the reference to it. But for the
oh yeah,
sake of my own viewers,
sure.
maybe if you give a little history about the title, where the name came from, and the topic that you're discussing in the lyrics.
Yeah, the song, like we call it "Shake It." There could have been parentheses until the money comes out, obviously.
Hmm.
That's the main hook, the main like title of the song. But I was how the song came about was I was driving and listening to CBC Q with Tom Power, and I was just innocently driving along, and he had Jim Carrey, the comedian, Canadian comedian. Everyone knows Jim Carrey, and he was talking to him. I think he had a book that he was promoting, like a child book or something, like a kid's book or something like
Hmm.
that. And the interview was great. And then at the end, it got into like more kind of worldview and a little bit of politics. And they had broached the subject of world oligarchs, and they were explaining what they thought about it. And Jim just said, some people just want to take the world, turn it upside down, and shake it till the money comes out. And I was like, that is a great title for a song. So I had my phone on me, and I made a little memo there, and rushed home and started the song. And it wrote kind of what, they say like songs write themselves. It kind of did that.
Yeah.
As soon as I had that title, it just kind of flowed from there.
It's pretty awesome to have a quick little backstory for it, and then have a song that came out so catchy as well. Like
Yeah.
it's packaged very well for you to be pushing that out on radio stations, which I'm sure people are hearing it out there now.
Yeah. CBC spinning it. There's some local 101.5, the Hawk, um, Q104 or Q103 in Moncton has spun it. I don't know if it's in the rotation or not, but they have played it. And
Mhm.
yeah, we're just hoping that people like it, and it keeps getting, the attention it's getting.
And is there like an album coming if you worked on a couple other songs as well?
I think we're going to continue to release singles. I think that kind of works best for us right now. Yeah, because we have about 6 songs that we feel are releasable.
Hmm.
Some we're still kind of working on, but by the time it comes to release them, they'll be ready. So we have this one now, and in May we're going to release another one, and then every like 3 to 4 months keep releasing.
Sweet. Something look forward to. Will there be
Yeah,
music video content to go along with that?
we did do a video that we're kind of waiting on to hear back from the videographer for another song that'll probably be released in the fall.
Okay.
This one, we're still looking into like options on that. We'll definitely be doing like an acoustic live version and things like that. But I don't know if we'll be doing a full cinematic one.
Hmm.
But you never know. Those things are quite expensive, so it's like
Yeah.
you have to figure out where to put your resources for things like videos.
And you're currently Moncton based as a band.
Yeah,
So if you're saying fall for that, I'm assuming that that's all going to align pretty closely with Music New Brunswick's Music Week and
yeah,
their awards celebration.
yeah.
So definitely have to keep an eye out for that. I was it was in Moncton last year, so I was there this past fall. So if I happen to be there again this year, which fingers crossed that ends up happening, definitely have to keep an eye out for you and maybe meet the rest of the crew there behind the scenes.
Definitely.
For tour dates, I did look and I didn't see anything. And through this conversation where you mentioned a few releases coming,
Yeah,
I'm assuming
we're,
there will be some support, but
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, we're not touring like we used to. Like we've
Mhm.
kind of figured out that we're more suited to do like one-offs, but like kind of special ones. Like we did kind of a single release in February
Mhm.
at the Parkendale Hall, which was amazing, super fun. We're doing that again in May, and we're looking into maybe like the Empress Theater here in Moncton for like people who don't like to drive out of town. So,
And
and then if that goes well, we'll look into doing like some one-offs in other cities as well.
do
Hopefully.
any of those songs or any of your past catalog, are they able to transfer into, because you can sing like that on your own? Do you ever
Yeah.
break it down to just like the two of you, or do you play guitar and sing solo sometimes with some? I know you
Yeah.
did back in the day with the old band, but
Yeah, with Sproul we did that too. Yeah, we definitely do. Like there's some songs that just feels better that way. Like
Mhm.
we have a song called Good Magic and I just play it. Sometimes Matt plays it and I sing it. It's
Cool.
just an acoustic and a vocal. Um and we also had to kind of tweak our set too for like a more intimate kind of hall instead of,
Okay.
as you said, we kind of have a lot of pop sensibilities. It's a lot of rock, pop, indie, alt, whatever you call it. It's kind of hard to pin down, but we've spent a lot of our time playing with bands that are way heavier than us. So we kind of developed a set that would at least hold up to that when we play bars
Mhm.
and like more music clubs. which works great there. But then you bring it to a place where it may be like a soft cedar or something like a hall, and it's like, yeah, we had to kind of tweak our set. We don't start with the same song. We don't play certain songs. We play other songs. Like it was interesting to see like how the set was affected by the venue for us.
And currently, I have read a little bit about you over the last few weeks to get a little bit extra details for this conversation, but
Yeah.
currently, do you have many songs in your set list if you're going to perform live that are not release songs? And are those mostly ones that are coming, or do you have a couple special ones just for the live fans?
We have one, right. We had two, but we kind of scrapped one of them. We have to kind
Mhm.
of do a little bit of live production on that one. It really needs two guitars or a synth, so I'm gonna see what I can do on
Okay.
there to kind of fill it up. But we had three or four the last time we played at Zero's Zero's
Mhm.
arcade bar, and that was, I think, in the summer. Kind
That's
of,
one of my new favorite venues, by the way. So shout
yeah,
out to those guys over there. I
great
love that
spot.
place.
Yeah, shout out to Zeros. And but since then, some of those songs we've dropped, and we may not be releasing those songs. So the last time we played, there was only one that was unreleased,
Oh, okay.
called "Start Over," and that's the one we did a video for, which is really cool. Interesting story. I got a guy reached out to me on Instagram, and I wasn't sure if it was legit or not. And he's like, "Hey, I make videos, and I'd like to do a video with you." And it was just out of nowhere, and I was like, "All right." Kind of ignored it actually to begin with, and then he wrote again. And I checked him out, and it seemed somewhat legitimate. So then I started talking back and forth with him, and it turns out that he was actually like a really good videographer and had done other stuff, and he wanted to do it for free. So he shot the whole thing for free, and it was a great experience. It was a 24-hour, I think 27-hour video shoot, and
Cool.
yeah, and we're just waiting to kind of hear back from that videographer, because he was working on it, but it wasn't obviously his priority since he did it as
Yeah,
like
sure.
a
And
photo thing.
those things take a lot longer than people realize.
Yeah,
I have some success with these episodes, and there's
yeah,
a few tricks I've learned as I went along, but I do know that if I have anything that's kind of outside the box of my little cookie cutter process,
yeah.
sometimes it ends up being like a week or two before I actually get something done instead of an hour or two. So yeah, anyone out there that's waiting on a videographer for editing,
Yeah.
some
And if
people
you're
are
not paying them,
procrastinating, but yeah, if you're not paying them, you just
you're
gotta
not
wait.
high on the priority list.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we will keep an eye out for a couple different events throughout the year to see if
Yeah.
your name's thrown up there, and I definitely want to keep an eye out and see if you're involved at all in Music Week in New Brunswick, because I am hoping to get over there this year. Will you be over this way or PEI or anything with ECMAs and Junos coming up?
We're
People.
hoping to, I don't know if this year we will be, but we are hoping to like maybe score some festivals this year,
Hmm.
like some summer festivals. So uh, that may drag us over there. We don't know. But,
Yeah, and I've been doing that to everyone. That's one of the reasons that I took some time off over the holidays, because I had ramped up these episodes quite a bit, and I was a little slow getting back at it. It's not that the music industry is that slow. It's a lot of people are preparing for the year, and festivals are just now announcing lineups, so people can't answer my questions. It's
yeah,
it
it's
makes
kind of a
it
timing
interesting
thing.
in interview. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I have new content and I'm planning on a bunch of festivals, but I can't tell you about any of it yet. So,
Well, also, if people want to see like some live performances and they want to do it from their house, we have a Facebook room or a
okay,
group. It's called the FM Berlin's Padded Room, and it's this room.
awesome.
So yeah, a lot of times we do. We had been doing it during like the pandemic, during the like lockdowns.
Hmm.
We've been doing it every Wednesday, and we pretty much did it every week. And then once things opened up, we started like becoming more free. We kind of slowed down, but last Friday, I think we did one, and it was really, really cool. So we're gonna start
Awesome.
doing that more often as well, and maybe even bring the full band in and do the new song down here for everyone.
Awesome. I do think that everyone got it during it, got all the equipment and gear and set up at a time when it was a necessity. Then when we didn't
Yeah,
when we didn't have to, everyone kind of set it aside for a little bit, but
Yeah,
it does seem like this winter was had a couple harsh spells, and people are like, I have this stuff sitting here. I do know how to
yeah,
do things without leaving the house. So it's
yeah,
interesting to see the hybrid starting to form. Be
yeah,
interesting to see where it goes next couple of years.
definitely.
And a little trivia matter to address here too. So anyone that's a new fan of Corey, yourself, or of FM Berlin, the
Mhm.
name FM Berlin,
Yeah,
I know the basic origin of the name,
yeah.
but I'm not 100% sure the FM part of it.
Yeah.
So is it, does it stand for foreign minister, or is
No, it stands for as implied, but free
okay?
man in Berlin, because
Ah,
yeah. So basically, Glenn's father, when he was in university, went to Berlin back when it was like a communist. It was basically cut off from the rest of Germany,
mhm,
and Russia was running things. And at the time, it was prohibited to bring cameras or anything like that over there. They let you in, but they would search you, and if they caught you with prohibited material, you would just be lost. You just wouldn't come back, basically.
mhm,
And but he snuck. He was young, so he was a little bit wild, and he brought a camera and he took pictures of everything. And at the time, they were touting it as this like communist utopia. Like everything was great here, and the Western world was falling apart, and we're doing great. And he discovered that it wasn't like that. All the bombed out buildings from the Second World War were still there, all bombed out, and it wasn't what they said it was, and took pictures of it and brought them back and has those pictures. So yeah,
wow.
he was a free man in Berlin. So
Yeah, that's an amazing story, actually.
yeah, he's an amazing guy.
And for people that want to keep up with you throughout the year and not rely 100% on me giving them an update through the year,
Yeah,
where should people follow? You mentioned the Facebook group where people could watch some live stuff. So I'm assuming that there's a Facebook page that people should follow
yeah,
as well.
yeah. There's a Facebook page, Instagram. You just go to whatever the platform is, facebook.com or instagram.com/FM Berlin Music.
Mhm.
You should find everything there.
And then you have your own website. Is it fmberlin.ca?
That's right. Yeah.
All right, excellent. And now into that single, where can people find the new single Shake It at?
Shake It, you could pretty much find it on all the platforms that, like Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, all the regular ones there where people like to frequent. We should be there.
Excellent. I think as we wind up here, we'll take a little listen to the single so everyone can have a taste of the new FM Berlin. And I encourage everyone to go out there in your favorite streaming platforms,
Yeah.
Spotify, or here on YouTube, or wherever else you're watching this
Yep. We're on
episode. I'm
YouTube
sure
as well.
we're on the same platforms as FM
Yeah,
Berlin. So wherever we are right now, when you're done this episode, make sure you hit subscribe to my content, then go
absolutely.
check out Corey's content and do a little digging backwards. And I'm sure there's a couple songs you recognize from some of those placements and some radio play.
Yeah.
Anyone that's previously a fan of Corey that joined us here today and you're new to this show, welcome. Please stick around. We have a lot to come this year through East Coast DNA. And any of the East Coast DNA fans that are new fans of Corey and FM Berlin, make sure that you subscribe on all the channels on different social media platforms over there as well. And Corey, feel free to pop me some notes through the year and let me know about whatever performances you have coming up and any new singles, and we'll share them through our social media channels. And hopefully we run into each other again this year, and maybe I can meet the rest of the band.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Great. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Take the world and turn it upside down. Shake it till the money comes out. 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 A new man who hid his hand, yeah, you could say from the world. And when the new day was done, a curtain curse upon everyone. For there are those who plant a seed, then wait to reap what they've sown. But then again there are some who can never get enough. They want everything plus one. Yeah, they sell you heaven, but they give you hell. They take the world and turn it upside down. And shake it till the money comes out. Shake it till the money comes out. Shake it till the money comes out. There's many ways that you can hide your heart in the light of day, in the after dark. But when the new day is done, a pox upon everyone. For there are those who plant a seed, then wait to reap what they've sown. But then again there are some who build a ladder up to the sun on the backs of everyone. Yeah, they sell you heaven, but they give you hell. They take the world and turn it upside down. All the lives have been hypnotized, all the lives in a shadow of doubt. They take the world and turn it upside down. And shake it till the money comes out. Shake it till the money comes out. Shake it till the money comes out. Just shake it till the money comes out. Until the money comes out. Until the money runs out. We're not coming down until the money's all gone. We're not coming down.